By giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, sanitation to the hopefully leg that is pushing this word in the four corners, the highways and byways. Once again, all praises, glory, and honor is due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Right, brothers Zakaria here with another lesson, and this lesson gonna be basically titled around uh in the last days, friends shall fight one another. All right, friends basically gonna come against one another. All right, and people period. All right, there gonna be a lot of fighting. All right, a lot of segregation. All right, like the scripture say, it says, nations shall rise against nations, a kingdom against kingdom. But on a smaller level, it's gonna happen as well. Crews against crews, gangs against gangs, all right, creed against creeds, different sect against another sect, all right. And even right now, we're seeing those things, okay. Um, just want to read this article right here, and then filter it through the scriptures, right? Lucky about that. Yep. So it says, man slits friend throat, says he was paid to do so. All right. So albeit this man is your so-called friend, but you took a bag, a purse, a fine change for killing, for murdery and cold blood. All right. You know, there's them demons that already activated. Right. It says 25-year-old Andrew Arnold of Kuropi, East Coast Demawari, is calling for justice after his throat was reportedly slit by his friend on April 2nd at around 1600 hours or 4 p.m. According to Arnold, he and his friend was hanging out when the friend told him to follow him to Pigeon Island on the east coast of Demawara, right? So Pigeon Island is basically a village, you know, in the east coast Demawara county or district, you could say, right? It says to uplift some money, and albeit it was probably the same money that he got paid uh, to kill his friend he was referring to, right? It says the victim said he agreed with him to go for the money. However, they decided to take the seawall instead of the road, right? And that remind me of a scripture, right? Reminds me of a scripture. It's going not by the way with the bone man. It's in the Apocryphal. Yeah. Yeah. Sirach 8 and 15. It says, travel not by the way with a bone man, lest he become grievous unto thee. For he will do according to his own will, and thou shalt perish with him through his folly. Right? So the man clearly did, you know, according to his own will. Right? And dude perish, to the point where he almost lost his life, right? So even now, brothers gotta be careful, right? With two-third, acquaintances and even family members, right? That is not in this thing, right? Look at this. It says, continue on. It says, when we reached there, he hauled on from behind When we reached there, he hold on from behind, put a knife on my neck, and tell me that he got money to kill me, and he slit my throat. Right. So this my own friend, you know, make an attempt at his life, right, in cold blood, right. That is, something that, you know, to slit a to to slit somebody's throat, right? It's not an easy thing to do, right? Meaning your mindset, all right, your spirit gotta be at a certain place to do so, right? Let me just read on a little bit more in here, and then I'll get to our next precept. It says, "Strive not with an angry man, and go not with him into a solitary place." Right? And the word solitary, um, it means, basically secluded, isolated, all right, single, you know. And those what it says right here. It says instead of using the main road, they use the sea wall, right? And for those who don't know, the sea wall, during the time of the day, and the sea wall period on the east coast, the Mawaro area is be secluded. There don't really be anybody there, right? It says, you know, so I didn't know this precept probably want to go um there, right? And that is why people perish, right, for lack of knowledge. Salakia, the scripture say, my people perish for lack of knowledge, right? It says, throw me over the sea wall and throw my bike on me, and then say you're dead now and ride off, right? Arnold told Daily News. He further stated that the suspects, someone whom he had an issue with, he said the matter was settled, but the person still want revenge. Arnold said the suspect is still to be arrested. Right? So basically he's saying that, somebody who he had an issue with in the past and he thought, it was already settled. The person is sending people at his life, right? To take his life. And this kind of, you know yeah, Salakia, it's kind of expected that someone that you had a issue with in the past might want to take revenge, but for them to get your friend to do it, your so-called friend, right? And this has to been a close friend too. Tells you how wicked it is, all right? How wicked the friend is actually, and that was never his friend, you know. Second Entrance 5 and 9, it says. Let me read from. I read from 8. Yeah, I read from 8. It says, "There shall be confusion in many places." And to this day, we're seeing confusion. A lot of confused individuals out there, right? They don't know the identity. They don't know the spirituality, right? They don't know what gender they is, right? And this is all by the working in Safu, right? Esau, you know. So the scriptures say that people shall call them the border of wickedness, which they are. Right, but continuing on, it says, there shall be confusion in many places, and the fire shall oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. Right? These this generation, right, is a generation of monsters. Like Yahushua was cursing them out. Um, back in his time, he says this is a generation of vipers, right? Well, this is a generation of monsters, right? It says the salt water shall be found in sweet. It's confusion again, and all friends shall destroy one another. That's the point, right? Even though right now it might seem, here and there, but it can eventually grow. And even now it's growing and it's gonna become more frequent, right? We saw a lot of cases last year where friends, was went on vacation together and, you know, only one of them came or somebody didn't came back. They was killed by the other friends, you know. Yeah, it's real, right? The scriptures is real, you know. Shit is getting real, right? Then shall wit, then shall wit hide itself, understanding withdraw itself into its secret chamber, right? So we're not going to follow the word. And when we see these things that happening, then we know the time is close, right? And we gotta let these people let it die. All right. It says, yeah, those. Let me read verse 10 too. It says, and shall be sought of many and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness, and for you to take money to kill your friend, that is unrighteous, you know, that was really unrighteous. And incompetency shall be multiplied upon the earth, right? And even now we see incompetency being multiplied on the earth, right? Right? The scripture talk about ministrous women, you know, when you think about it, ministrous women, when they on the cycle, so to speak, women is become really incompetent. They're not able to do a lot, right? And that's how this generation, excluding the prophets, that's how they become, right? Like a woman on her period, unclean, entitled, hypertensive, moody, you know, that's how they become. They become, right? Yep. Second Ezra 6 and read verse 24. It says, at that time shall friends fight one another like enemies, right? And now this man slit his friend throat, as if though they're enemies, right? Because your friend would never slit your throat, you know? It says, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs, right? because why? A lot of people, a lot of persons, even right now, is afraid, you know, to go out. Like a big term right now is trauma, right? There are a lot of traumatized persons out there based on previous experience and other people experience or what's not, right? So they're just standing in fear, right? And this is not even like right now, things are actually still kind of good. These people are very comfortable, right? But it's about to get worse. When you read up to verse 22, it says, "And then shall the sown places appear unsown, and full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." Yeah, so what's gonna happen when these shelves start going empty in the supermarkets and stuff, and the farmers, crop ain't really producing like that and so forth, right? And the government, buy out, all the farmlands and basically got control over everything, and things get really, really tight and rigid, you know? What gonna happen? These people gonna do anything for a piece of bread, right? Just think about it, right? So just want to remind brothers again that we heading into the time, right? That you can see some crazy stuff out there, and not to trust two thirds because not because you know this person 10, 15 years, you know, maybe is your favorite cousin or whatnot. That doesn't mean that they wouldn't sell you out because they will, right? So hopefully this lesson was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Once again, the Bahanas, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Sanitation to the awful elect. Shalom.